Hey everybody,
Hello.
Traveling Champagne's here. Al Champagne, Kim Champagne. And we're on the Norwegian Encore. We thought we'd take this time, it's our last day here, day 7, and we thought we'd tell you 5 things we liked about the cruise and 2 things we wish that they might change. But let's get to it. So the first thing we thought that we really liked was the embarkation.
Yes, it was really, really fast.
And if you take a look at our video, we're going to be putting out several videos after this. You'll see it was like going around in Disneyland, with nobody in the ride, in the line. I mean, we zipped through that. So that was really appreciated. The second thing that we liked was a few in that second thing were the experiences. Okay, number 1 was the glaciers.
Yeah, that was very good.
Okay, so they cruised right up to the glacier, and what they did was they had it set up so you would go down the elevator to deck 8, and they had employees, the guests, the crew standing there guiding you the right way to go. So then we went down the long hall. We came out, and there they were serving a little alcohol. They had
hot chocolate
and coffee, and that was really good. That was thoughtful. Then they ushered you up to the
heliport.
Oh, the heliport, and which is called the bow. Okay, so they had, and up there they had a photographer so they could really get a fabulous image of you with the glaciers behind you, the snow-capped mountains. It was really something. And people were up there. Everybody was excited. Like I said, it was like an event, like a concert event. It was really good.
And they wanted to make sure everybody got to see the glacier, so the ship made 360 turns right in the middle of the glacier. So everybody on the ship got a good viewpoint of the glacier. It was really good.
Yeah, so that was an experience. Number 2 experience was when, so day 6 we went to Ketchikan. And so they shuttled us to downtown Ketchikan. It might have been a 20-25 minute ride. All right, so we got off the shuttle. First of all, they parked 1 block away, so we could actually see it when we came out if we were looking for where they would be. And they said they would be there when we got out. Okay, so you know how that, like, a lot of times they'll say that, and they'll ride around, do other things, and then come back, and then you kind of see them, you wait, and then they pull up. So we watched the show, which was fabulous. Now, one thing about the show, they said that there was no video. But guess what? They said you could take pictures. I was like, I love it. So I was got a lot of images to show you, and that'll be in one of the videos that will come up later next week. So after the show, we walked out, and guess what? They were right there waiting for us. I was like, because it was windy. We came out, and that one said, whew. And I was like, oh my God, let's run. And I was like, they're there. They waited for us. So we ran out there, got on the bus, and we were back in 20 minutes.
Yes, that was really good. And before you go into the show, they put a tag on you to make sure that you're from the cruise ship. And if you're outside and happen to get lost, somebody will point you to where the bus is, to make sure you're on that bus to get back to the cruise ship.
Yeah, because there were 2 cruise ships in port down there. Who was that? The Joy or?
The Joy, Norwegian Joy, was docked right next to us, and they had 2 identical ships. So you got to really watch which ship you get on.
So that's why they put the distinguishing stickers on your jacket. Okay, so then we get back up on the ship, and within an hour, we were back to the ship. After we left there, within an hour, we were back on ship and having lunch. It was lovely. We had to meet them at 9 o'clock down in the terminal, so that worked out really good. And one other thing, so when we were walking back, they have this building where you walk through, and that's where all the signs, you'll see it on the video, that's where you see all the signs of every excursion that they have, and they're all lined up. They had the best stuff in there. I bought my grandsons, both of them, I bought them t-shirts. Couldn't find anything for my baby girl, but I will be trying to find something for her, Miss Alea, anyway. So we got through there, but it was hard to get through there because they had so many things. And the thing of it was really winterized clothing. I mean, the shirts had fleece on them and stuff like that. So it was kind of interesting because we weren't going to go anywhere where we would really need fleeced lined shirts. But, we picked up a few things, and that was really good. Number 3, we saw the show, The Choir of Men. And it was so funny. It was the jungle. It was set in the scene of a bar, an Irish pub bar called The Jungle. And initially they invited people up.
Yeah, free beer. They give you a free beer.
So this person went up, okay?
Yeah, let's say they were giving you a free beer.
Yeah, sounds good. But guess what? Who sat down there and started drinking his beer?
They were giving you a free beer.
I know. So the show was starting, and he's still sitting there.
Drinking my free beer.
It was crazy. Then finally came down. But that show had so much energy. I was revved up when I left, and the show went over 15 minutes, and that's one thing they never do. And it was just really great. Those guys had so much energy. It was really engaging. So that's a show that you have to see when you come on the Encore. Number 4 is the food. We have the Taste, Savor, and the Manhattan Room. These are the complimentary restaurants, on the show.
And it's easy to remember because all you have to remember is that you eat on deck 6. And then above deck 6 is deck 7, which is the primary main dining room, the Manhattan. And below the Manhattan dining room, you have the 2 other restaurants. And they serve the same thing. So that's good too.
Yeah, so it was really good. We ate there most of the time. Sometimes I kind of like to go to the buffet because I like they have that Asian food, that Asian station, and they serve the pho, and I always go there, and I mean, the food is so good. I'm doing a little slurp on my bowl. So that was one thing we really liked.
And also on the 3 restaurants, one thing to remember is if you want a window seat, go ahead and ask for if you can get a window seat. And a lot of times they'll say, no, but you can wait. And within like 5 minutes, they'll have the first one that opens up, they'll call you and you can get a window seat.
Number 5 is a casino. Now, you can go in a casino and you can figure out when it's kind of tight. They're kind of tight, but they weren't tight. We played a few times and I won a little bit.
You won $28.
I know, but
how much did I win on the last cruise?
$348.
How much did you win on this cruise?
$28.
How much did I win on my cruise?
$348.
Okay. So we'll see who's the gambler.
Who's not.
Who's not.
But I was going to come back, and I said, no. I'm going to wait because I have something in mind. I was going to try to go to the roulette table. But each time we went, it was so packed. It was really fun. I love roulette. That's what I play. And their minimum was $2, not $5, not $10. It was $2, which is really good.
And you should have did it. You should have played.
But we had to go we had scheduled meal time. So, next time, because I plan to play on our next cruise. And you'll see that then.
And this guy that was in our group put down 200 on red. And he hit. And that's how much money?
400.
400.
He was on a red block on the side, so that was it.
Yeah.
So it was really good. So those are the 5 things that we really liked. And now we're going to talk about two things we wish that they could change.
Right.
He'll start.
Okay, one of the things I didn't like is what is buffet?
You mean you wish they could do better?
Yeah, wish they could do better. And it seems like everybody else is getting into this, and I don't particularly like it. But when you have a tray full of food, and you want a coffee or you want a soda or something like that, it's hard to coordinate all that stuff. And before, the server would come up to you and wanted to know if you want a drink or you want some coffee, and they'll bring it to you, but not on this cruise. They the only thing they did was pick up the dishes off the table, but they would not bring you personal drinks, and I thought that was kind of bad.
Well, I find it interesting. It's not in their policy, and one thing we will say is that maybe they will take that under advisement.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Okay, and the next thing, which turned into be a good thing, this is turning lemons into lemonade. Okay. So I was having true issues about the internet. So we bought the package, and it had the internet package in it. It had dining, two dining. It had internet, and it had one excursions half price. Okay, so we got that. So when I get my internet, it's minutes. Okay, maybe I should have looked at that before. Okay, it's minutes. And so you get 150 minutes, and you have to log on and off. But that reminded me of back in the day when the internet, when they had AOL, and you had to turn it on and turn it off, and they would charge you about a minute. I wasn't a fan of that. But, okay, so then I go down, and I says, okay, well, maybe I need to stream. So, okay. But the streaming package was pretty expensive. It was $29 a day. So midway the cruise, that's when I purchased it, and I came out like $119, which I'm used to that's what I'm used to paying for a whole week. So I wasn't a fan of that. But then what happened was I met this lovely lady at the internet desk. Okay. We have Ring, and I always like to watch my house because I had guests at my house when we left on a cruise, which we usually do. We have family come in when we're leaving, so that way it kind of watches the house. Okay, so I wanted to watch to see if they needed problems, if they were having trouble getting in or out, and the Ring wouldn't work with the streaming package that I bought. And every cruise I've ever been on, because I've always had this, we can always watch our Ring, and they told us that you had to get a VPN. I was like, a VPN? Yeah, a VPN. Okay, so I chew that around a day, and then I go back and ask, and they said because their satellites are varying. So, like the Ring only works in the United States. So if the satellite is oscillating and it's in Spain and you can't get it, and they've promised you that's why the Ring doesn't work on it. You will get notifications in a Ring and go, look, and you see one picture you can't see live. So what we found was, then I went back again. I says, hey girl, because she knew me. All right, so she tells me, so then I says, well, what VPN do you suggest? So she had the one she liked. She called it was called Proton, Proton. All right, so I said, okay, well, sign me up for Proton. I have to see what's going on. So she signs me up for Proton. And guess what? They have for $1, you could try it. And I asked her, because she's an expert. And some other people, I've been discussing this, trying to figure this out. Other people had different VPNs that they use, but she knew them all, and she said, no, this one is easier to use. So that was my lemons turning into lemonade, because I had thought about a VPN, right? But I'm like, I'm not going to pay a lot. $1. So then that was to try it for 1 month, and then it was $59 for the year. the year. I was like, this is really great. So I felt really good because I felt like she introduced me to getting a VPN. It was one that was tried and true. So now I have a VPN. And when I was in Mexico, this is what I've noticed. When I was in Mexico, on a cruise last year, and I'm scrolling and I'm scrolling and I'm scrolling, and I'm looking for a background, a photography background, and I see on Amazon, I see totally different ones than I see when I look. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, I'd never seen these, and I wanted these. So I ordered these 2 backgrounds, right? But it is actually true. If you are in a different country, you will see different items sold than in the United States. So I really plan to use that to just see what's going on in, other countries. Especially I've heard from fellow YouTubers that they, if they're in Europe and they can't get to Netflix, they just change their destinations. Like they're in Europe and they change it to the United States and they can watch Netflix. So I think it will be for $59 for the year. I think it'll be worth it.
What I like about it is that your VPN, like in Ketchcon, it just shows that you were in the United States, although you were not. And we have like 4,000 people on this ship. And if you have 2 ships, that's 8,000. And they don't have enough towers there to cover that. So if you have a VPN, it's saying that you're from the United States. And
other places in the United States, because Ketchikan is the United States.
No.
Alaska.
Yeah, right. But do you understand what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying, but I'm saying it's still the United States.
Yeah, but not
the towers.
No, not the greater United States, because
you mean the lower 49?
Yeah, lower 48.
Oh yeah, lower 48. Okay.
Lower 48.
Right. Okay.
And because they have more cell towers.
Right.
But in Alaska or Hawaii, they don't have that many, or Mexico.
Yeah, they were talking about that. Yeah. I mean, it was a large group this morning talking about it, that they don't have a lot of towers in Alaska.
And also, talking about your internet lady, I went down there because I wanted a boarding pass printed out. And she, no problem, she did it, because I was expecting a computer at the internet cafe. And I was going to do it there. She said, no, I'll print it out here. And so I got my boarding pass.
And you hear the ring going off, right? Okay, so I'm like, I really need to see what's going on. And he wanted his boarding pass.
Yeah.
And these people have just been lovely. I tell you, they've been really lovely. You asked me, would I go on this cruise again? And I say, yes, I would go on this cruise again. So those are the 5 things that we liked about the Encore, and 2 things that, we want them, suggest that they change a little bit. But all in all, it was a good trip.
It was great.
See you later.
Peace
Bye.
out.